AIDS 302, summer session A. It's June 17th, uh, and I am going to talk to you about the second part of Module 5. Uh, so let's take a look here, get it going. Boy, I wasn't really feeling up for this today for some reason. It's like, okay, all right. So, oh no, that's, um, oh, oh, I know what I wrote. Watch the survey videos, meaning that, well, anyways, I mean, if you're missing video work, points, whatever, you do it. If you're not seeing me record your points, let me know, okay? Um, all right, make sure to participate in each other's surveys. I went through and did every survey that was submitted and scored your survey link on that. So what did I see? Well, if I told you, right? Too many yes, no questions. That was specifically said, We were going to use a range of intensity instead of straight yes or no. Okay. Um, it's kind of like saying, do you think people are doing the right thing when it comes to COVID-19? Yes or no? Well, that's not a question I saw, I don't think, but it doesn't really do anything. Okay. Because another area was the specificity of the question, the clarity of the question, the choice of answers matching the theme of the question. Too many yes or no, too many blank, fill in the blanks, too many choices than other. That's an open-ended response option. There were to be the only open-ended question on here was what? Age, you're right. And the fact is that most of you did not use the age breakdown that they suggest, and I want to thank you for that because some people did use it, and I strenuously objected that you don't use that. You shouldn't use that one. You're only going to have like 40 responses. You break them down yourself. You don't use theirs, okay? So those are the big issues that we had. Now, do you go back and do it again? No, it's good. Move forward. Learn from this, okay? Like anything in this class or any class or in life, learn from it and move on. Think about, what my feedback was and how it turns out and grow from it, okay? That's what we want to do, grow from it, all right? We don't always get to go back and change the mistakes we made, and Lord knows I've made a whole boatload, but you grow from them. So in this case, I don't want to overemphasize it, but I want to underemphasize it because it's a opportunity for growth, a teaching opportunity that you can use to increase or learn about learning, learn about how to analyze information, ask questions, right? Okay, I did the discussions then on the thinking outside the box, which meant something there. So if you thought outside the box and had some weird disciplines, and if you mentioned the weird disciplines off the list, boy, I probably gave you bonus points because that was awesome. That's exactly what I wanted you to do. If you went with the standard fare that your paper is on, then you didn't really do anything here. You just repeated something. You basically just status quo. I'm doing economics and sustainability or whatever. That's it. No, look at all those things in there. Think about it. This is what we're trying to do here. We're not resting on our laurels and sitting here and thinking about only as interdisciplinarians. You got to look at all across the board. You got to reach, push yourself. Anybody that I'm sure you've had many areas, whether it's sports or I don't know, sports or whatever, or your hobbies or anything, you have to keep pushing yourself to expand your knowledge base, to expand your expertise, to expand your experience, right? Okay, so, all right, let's go to Easter egg number one right away. I hate to even do this again in module 6 or 5, but Capitalize the disciplines. Okay, that means if it's two words, you capitalize both words. Okay, and the disciplines. All right, so capitalize disciplines. Okay, thank you. That's it. All right. So let me talk real quick about consuming knowledge. Remember, I've had that kind of as an underlying theme of the course. I want you to become better consumers of knowledge because let's face it, how many of us are going to continue to research the rest of our life? And that was like something that I don't expect, right? I mean, we're not going to do more research, but what can we get out of this class then besides knowing how to recognize research and recognize that certain aspects of research gives it more veracity and credibility than others to be better consumers of knowledge. Okay, so for example, my niece sent me, oh my god, those announcements. She said that excuse me, sorry. um, she said New York Times scientists, University of Oxford, said they had identified the first drug shown to reduce coronavirus-related deaths, a steroid called Xelora. It's reduced the death rate. Drug has been around for decades, already stocked in pharmacies, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so she works at a university too. All right, here's the deal. Let's look at this. Let's consider the levels, the spectrum of knowledge consuming. Okay, so let's, for want of a better word, let's call the Facebook consumer, the Facebook consumer of knowledge. Takes that, it's a cure. They're getting there. Cure coming. Look at this. It's got all the important words, Oxford, New York Times. It's got a big name for a drug. That's the Facebook level of consuming knowledge. Okay, let's go to the average consumer, probably. That it's good news. Hey, this is good news. Probably something working on this, whatever. Okay, that's fine too. All right, that's fine. Let's talk about a higher level thinker. Okay, in an area that if you cared about this area enough, again, I don't expect you to do this for every single thing that comes into your life, but I'm giving you this range so you can be cognizant of, are you being like a Facebook consumer knowledge where the cat said something to Abraham Lincoln and that was the truth, or are you being a higher level thinker and something that matters to you? Then you'd say that, yes, this is a great news. It's from Oxford, but it was a press release. I could do a press release. It's a press release. It's not what? It's not peer reviewed yet. Right. It's still not peer reviewed, meaning that it has to go and get tested. And what do these peers do in this aspect? A lot of scientists will replicate the experiment, replicate this the whatever was used to get the data. And that's how we build on this knowledge as consumers, right? So it doesn't mean it's wrong or false as a press release, just means that we want to be realistic, okay? All right, base it on the facts, not the fervor, okay? And you can do that with any issue, right? You can look at any issue, and there's obviously the emotional gut reaction to it, as well as there's facts that typically back it up, all right? I also found this NPR research on this NPR's page, npr.org. Study exposes Russia disinformation campaign that operated in the shadows for 6 years. So it says for the past 6 years, an obscure disinformation campaign by Russian operatives has flooded the internet with false stories, blah, blah, blah. According to a new report published on Tuesday by social media researchers. So it's a little muddy there, granted. So, I'm looking at it, and it takes me to this website, Graphica, whatever it is. Tipped over my soda. They're talking about viewing the report here, done by a bunch of people. I don't see that it's peer reviewed or published anywhere. It's their own, for their own sake. Again, does not make it wrong. Okay? All right. It's a very thorough. You look at each per the credibility they have. Do they have advertising? No, they don't. Secondaryinfection.org. So I'm just saying, as consumers of knowledge, question it. Because if this would have taken me to a website that had pop-ups, that had things coming across, ads that had, you know, asking for money, things like that, then it should raise your question, raise curiosity and suspicion on that, okay? That's all I'm saying. So what you're doing here, bringing it back to us, is what we're trying to do is take some certain steps that introduce you to research and how to go about it in a way that you are covering your track. I mean, you're covering your, I shouldn't say covering your, what, but uh, you're supporting your claims. You're using a step-by-step scientific method, right? Okay. So let's go with Easter egg number 2. And I hate to remind you, but as of my sitting here, even though it's early, it's only less before 1 o'clock. There's 9 days to go in the class. So the Easter egg number 2 is 9 days to go. All right. So let's get into step 4. Okay. Step 4 is it's probably the most challenging paper in this class. Okay. So if you shortchange it, you're not going to do well. All right. But I want you to take a look at Tanner step 4, which is to critically analyze common disciplinary insights and patterns of connection. All right. So you're going to look at the literature that you found in your step 3 annotated bibliography and your primary sources search, right? And dig into those. My instructions are pretty comprehensive here. So you're going to do an analysis of disciplinary literature. It says see above and video. That video is this. I want you to write about the literature, put it together, identify areas of conflict between your disciplines and how you might resolve that. And does it even matter? How do you make it integrative as opposed to multidisciplinary? Is there a way to do that? This is where the rubber meets the road in terms of what differs us from the animals. It differs us from the multidisciplinarians and the disciplinarians to be integrative thinking. Think integratively here. Put your thinking caps on and push yourself. Push through. Boy, that was foolish. Okay. Then I've got that's your section. Notice the sections. And then the primary data collection. I just want you to describe what you're doing to get your data, to collect your data. And by the way, when you had an open-ended question on your survey, that becomes qualitative. And you would be required to develop a coding system, to a validity horizon, and a meaning field. What are those? Right, you didn't learn anything about those. So that's why I didn't have you do qualitative. It's too involved. We only have 9 days to go, right? So why did you do open-ended questions when I asked you not to strenuously? And I gave you the reason. It's not quantitative. So the way around that is you don't get to use those questions. Stricken from the record. I don't give a darn what anybody said about it, okay? Okay, so the good news is there's a sample. There's a sample. So one of your classmates has turned her work in early, and it's extremely well done. Okay, so I would venture to say it's closer to being grad school work than undergrad work. So obviously, you're not going to mimic this, piece for piece. But let's just say, I mean, most of you people resonate. So, look at this. I actually tweaked it a little bit. I do my old paragraph indents and I move things up or down together and I eliminated some things, but it is chef's kiss. It's really, really, really well done. Excellent work. Take a look at it. This is what I'm looking for, okay? Notice the works cited list, chef's kiss again, good sources, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sources, alphabetical order, hanging paragraphs, etc., etc. That is what I'm looking for. If you have any questions about step 4, let me know, but that's what I'm looking for, this sample. Now, as we get really close to the finish line, let me give you an idea on the final paper, what it's going to look like. All right, so the final paper, the way I envision it, and the way it's going to look, it's going to be, you're going to have your step 1, your step 2, your step 3, your step 4, and then your step 5. Okay, you will have all the work cited only in one list at the bottom. Yes, you will leave your annotated bibliography there. It's not a works cited list, it's an annotated bibliography. You will have your works cited list at the bottom, at the top of the first new page after the writing, okay? You can have an appendix that says, you take that appendix and you can put your survey questions and answers in there. Be careful about copy and paste. That never works well. But the appendix is optional. I like seeing them, but it shows the questions, potential answers. All right. Your step 5 is going to be your dissemination of your survey results visually as well as in text. You're gonna analyze. You're gonna show your survey results. You're gonna analyze your results, and then you're gonna do a summary. All right. Now, I'm also going to I'll post it, but I also want you to do like an integrative. I don't know if I call it a resolution, integrative summary. We can just call it the integrative summary. I'll lay out the subheadings here in a few minutes, but I'll do that and post it. But it's going to be where I want you to really connect everything that you brought from the top down. I'll get more into how you wrap up research, how it works out in the next week's video, of course, on Sunday. But that just gives you an idea that you're going to be putting all your steps together in one coherent paper and a table of contents. Oh my God, right? I've been showing the TOC, and you could probably copy and paste that one. It might be the easiest thing to do because it's got to be orderly, okay? I don't want table of contents all over the place, snaking on the side, okay? You can't put your page numbers until you know what they are, though, of course. Table of contents, oh yeah, okay, cover page. Give me a cover page above that, just nothing too bold and no graphics. I don't want any color or anything like that. Cover page, table of contents, step 1, step 2, you don't skip pages. One continuous document, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then step 5. Okay, and the summary, then the works cited, then the appendix, and this is how you get yourself a 20-page paper, right? Or more, or less, who knows? So that gives you some idea. I'm going to hash this out in my head real quick and then post it. So in the meantime, I think that's it, you guys and gals. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns. I don't want anybody spinning their wheels, so you need to get a hold of me sooner than later. Be proactive, don't be reactive. And then let's go with Easter egg number 3. I am going to be preachy again. Please wear a mask in public. Is that too much to ask? I guess it is. But it's probably going to irritate some people typing this down. If you have integrity, you won't even take the 5 points then. Wear a mask in public. That's Easter egg number 3. Forks up. It's not an Easter egg. And be safe. Peace. See ya.